Good evening, students. Today we are going to revise the topics fractions and a little part of decimals. Let's see fractions first. A fraction represents a part of a whole. So, as I told you before, when we divide a part, into any of the number of equal portion of parts. For example, here I have a circle and I divided it into four equal parts. One part is called as a fraction. Okay, a fraction represents a part of a whole without making into pieces or without making into cuts. We call that as whole, complete thing. Whole is nothing but a complete thing. Okay, so when we take one part of the fraction, one part of the whole, that is called as a fraction. So in fraction we denote as a by b. That means either 1 by 2 or 3 by 4 or 5 by 6, in this way. There, the top number we call it as numerator, the down number we call it as denominator. So the down number indicates how many parts we have cut that whole thing. For example, I have a pizza where I wanted to distribute to 6 people, so I will cut it into 6 equal parts, right? So when we are cutting it into some of the equal parts, that number we call it as denominator. So here what I have done, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 parts I have done. So total number of parts indicates denominator, and how many parts we are taking, that indicates the numerator, right? These are the basics which you have already learnt. Then like fractions, when we have the fractions with the same denominator, see, observe these fractions: 7 by 3, 8 by 3, 9 by 3, 4 by 3, 6 by 3. So here if you observe these fractions, all fractions are having the same denominators. This kind of fractions we call it as like fractions. Quickly tell me, are these the like fractions? No, these are not the like fractions. Here numerators are same. But according to us, like fractions means we should have the same denominators. Those fractions only we call them as like fractions. Unlike fractions are little reverse to this, where we have the different denominators, like we have 1 by 3 or 2 by 5 or 3 by 7 or 5 by 9. So different denominators will be there. That fractions we call them as unlike fractions. Let's come to the next, unit fractions. The word unit indicates 1. The word unit means 1. So if there is 1 as a numerator, 1 by 10, 1 by 5, 1 by 9, 1 by 8. If 1 is there in the numerator, we call them as simply unit fractions. So whatever may be the denominator, you can take denominator as 989 also. You can take any of the number, any of the natural number you can take, but the numerator should be 1. I am mentioning here natural numbers. I hope you remember natural numbers and whole numbers. As I told you before, whole number starts with 0 and to infinity. Natural numbers start with 1 and to infinity. So here, as we are talking about natural numbers, you can take any of the number after 1. But if the numerator is 1, then that fractions we call them as unit fractions. Next, coming to the equivalent fractions. In equivalent fractions, there will be two different fractions with different denominators, different fractions with different numerators, different denominators. Here 1 by 2 is there, here 2 by 4 is there, here 3 by 6 is there. Even though there are different numerators and denominators, they all are equal. How? If you see it, if you take the 1 by 2, so if I take a circle and if I make it a 1 by 2, I'll shade one part. If I take 2 by 4, if I shade two parts, the same. Virtually it is same, but if you see the numbers are little different, that's it. So that is the difference here. Equivalent fractions or the fractions where numerators and denominators are different. In all those fractions they are different, but they all are equal. How you will get a equivalent fraction? For example, if you are having 1 by 3, I want to get an equivalent fraction for this. To get an equivalent fraction, you should multiply the fraction, given fraction, with the same number in the numerator and also in the denominator, such that 1 2s are 2, 3 2s are 6. So 2 by 6 is equal to 1 by 3. In this way, we will find out equivalent fractions. We can also find out equivalent fractions. Like for example, if we have given the questions 3 by 5 is equal to 6 by 10. I don't know whether they are equivalent or not. To find out this, we have to do the cross multiplication. So 3 into 10. 3 into 10. What is 3 into 10? 30. Here 6 into 5. 6 into 5 is 30. Both are equal. That means these two fractions are equivalent. In this way, we are going to find out the equivalent fractions. Next, the next type of fraction is proper fraction. The next type is proper fractions. Proper fractions are the fractions where numerator is smaller than the denominator. That means they look proper. You can say them proper. So if you see a person wearing a different odd kind of dress where pant as top, top as pant, that is odd, right? So if they are using a proper one, we'll say them as proper fractions. For example, you can take 2 by 5 where 2 is smaller than 5. It is proper. Where numerator is smaller than denominator, that means it is proper. That means there are 5 parts we have. Out of 5 parts, we have taken 2 parts. Right? Then, but when it comes to the improper fraction, it will be looking like 22 by 5. So, I have taken 5 parts. I have cut into 5 parts. I have taken 22 parts. So, it is little improper, right? So, these kind of fractions where numerator is greater than the denominator, we are called as improper fractions. Next, mixed fractions, mixed numbers. Actually, we should refer it as mixed numbers. Okay, so when mixed numbers or the numbers where will be having one fraction and one whole number. Here we are referring a whole number. That means we are taking here a complete number, like natural number 6, 7, 21, 35, whatever. And we'll take one fraction. It is a mixture of one natural number and fraction. So that type of numbers we call them as mixed numbers. Next, let's see some of the homework problems. Till here, these are the key points of the fractions where you will get the bits in your exams. Fine. Addition of like fractions. So it is very simple. Always remember, denominator will not change. In this, so here what is the denominator? 19, right? If you observe this, you can say these fractions as like fractions. That's why here I mentioned like fractions. So here 19 is there, so we mention 19 only to the denominator. Then what we'll do to get the answer? All the numbers in the numerators, 3 plus 2 plus 7 plus 1. So 3 plus 2 plus 7 plus 1. That means 3 plus 2 is 5. 5 plus 7 is 12. 12 plus 1 is 13. So 13 by 19. This is the addition of like fractions where you will add all the numerators and you will write the common denominator. Let's come to the subtraction of like fractions. It is also the same way where you will write the denominator as same. Numerators you will do subtraction. Which is the big here? First tell me that. 19 is the big. So we'll subtract 14 from 19 where we'll get 5. So answer is 5 by 25. Right. So comparing fractions. When we see these comparing fractions, you will get like fractions. Like for example, 3 by 17, 13 by 17. We have to compare the both. So where these are like fractions, when there are like fractions, if the smaller number is there in the numerator, that fraction is the smallest fraction. If a little bigger than this, that means it is the biggest fraction. So here which one is a big? 13 by 17 is a big. We'll do in this way. But if the same question reverse, like 17 by 3 and 17 by 13, where numerators are same, denominators are different, and these are not like fractions, in such cases, whatever the denominator is having, whichever the fraction having denominator the smaller number, that is the biggest fraction. for which fraction we have the smallest denominator, that will be the biggest fraction. This will apply when we have the same numerators. Okay, right. Okay, let's solve some of the mixed fractions to improper fractions. So here I told you, when you have a question in exam, you should do the problem in 3 steps, 3 simple steps. So where this is the question 16 5 by 8. So this is the symbol you should remember from down to top. Down you put an into, top you put a plus. Down into, top plus. That means down we are starting with the multiplication, top we are ending it with the addition. So whatever may be the problem you do, denominator will never change. So you will put the same denominator down. Then, so I started this with from down. That means from down only I am going to write the answer. So 8 into, right, 8 into 16. 8 into 16 plus 5. If you write from top to down, the answer will be wrong. So what you have to remember, you should start it from the down. So where 8 into 16 plus 5. Okay. Then, so you will find out with the 16 into 8. 8 6 are 48, 8 1 are 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So 128 plus 5. Right. 13, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 3, 133. So here the answer is 133 by 8. In this way we are going to do it. Okay. Right? I hope you can do it. If you want, you solve this too also. Now, the reverse. So, these fractions we call as mixed numbers or mixed fractions, where what we got the answer, these are improper fractions. Just now we discussed where numerator is greater than the denominator. So, you will also get the questions like from improper fraction you have to convert to the mixed number. When you have to do it, you should divide the top number, that means numerator, with the denominator. When you are doing it, so here if you see 11 nines are 99. So 101 minus 99. If you see 101 minus 99, 99 after 100, 101, 2. Always remember, I already told you many times, denominator here will not change. Denominator will be the 11 only. So now the question, what is the whole number and what is the numerator? So here what quotient you are getting, that is the whole number, and what remainder you are getting, that is the numerator. This you have to remember. Where you are getting the remainder, that is a numerator. Where you are getting the whole number, that is a quotient. Right? In that way you have to solve this. Okay. Right. Very small exercise is there. Find the value of this type of questions. What the meaning of this question? Try to understand it. So here I have 24 pens. I want to give 1/4 of my pens to someone. If I tell you I have a pizza, always we are taking pizza, right? Let's take as a cake. Think it is a cake. I have a cake where I made a cut into 4 equal halves. I want to give 1/4 to my favorite student. So if I want to give 1/4, what I will do? I will give this 1/4 part. But now what I am telling, I have 24 pens. From this 24 pens, I wanted to give 1/4. There how we have to do it. So it's very simple. 24 we have to made into 4 equal parts. This 24 pens we have to divide into 4 equal parts. Out of that 4 equal parts, one part we will give. Right? So how we have done the cake? We divided it into 4 equal parts and we gave the one part, right? 1/4. In the same way, 24 first we will divide it with 4. Okay. So if you divide 24 with 4, you will get 6. Okay. So that means if I divide 24 into 4 parts, that I'll get each, in every part I will get 6, 6, 6, 6. So how many parts I have to give? One part I have to give. That means 1/6 I have to give. The answer will be 6. So every time we can't do in this way. So how we have to solve these problems? See this question 3 by 8 into 48. When we have these questions, first you have to check 8 table when you are getting the 48. Forget about this numerator first. Check this too. Check 8 table when you are getting 48. In 8 table you are getting 48. Sixth step. So 8 6 are 48. Now what is the symbol here? We have into. So 3 into 6 it is 3 6 are 18. So 18. 3 by 8 part is 18. So 48, if we divide 48 into 8 equal parts, 3 parts will come 18. Okay. It's quite difficult to understand. I hope I am giving you a better explanation I am trying to give. Try to understand it. See, when we are seeing here, quickly tell me what you have to do. First, you will check the down number table. Are you getting this or not? So 9 ones are 9 nines are. Then you have to multiply. First, you will check the table and you will cancel it. Then you will multiply. 1 nines are 9. That's it. Okay, this is all about the fractions. Revise it well. Get ready for the tomorrow's ST.